Hi, vinyl community. So I'm going to do a proper Beatles post. The other was an overview, kind of showing all the stuff that I had. And I grabbed a few things that I kind of wanted to show and explain a little bit too. Have a little explanation. And we start with some of the Japanese Beatle albums that I have. This is part of the Mono series that came out. I don't know the exact dates, but it was definitely sometime during the 70s. No, 80s. And this was a Japanese pressing as the Obi and mono record, red vinyl. And surprisingly, we do not have the vinyl out, so I get to take this out. How fun. And actually, show the red vinyl. Nice. A little particular about taking that actual vinyl out, but there it is. Revolver in all its glorious mono red vinylness. Anyway, that's a series that's tough to find. At the time, I got the LPs that were available in the bins for me to pick up. And it was pretty much with the Beatles for sale. Getting the monos for those wasn't that important. But then they had the mono for Revolver, and which was very nice because a number of tracks on Revolver are different. In particular, there's is it Good Day Sunshine? I think if you listen to the ending of Good Day Sunshine, you will hear. Listen to the stereo version, and listen to Paul's vocal trailing out. I hope it's Good Day Sunshine, and then listen to the mono version and listen to his vocal trailing out, and he starts to sing differently. And I don't know if it's the entire vocal track or it's just maybe an overdub at the end. I'm not sure, but it's a different. He sings differently in the way. It's not just an extension of the stereo. It's definitely where he should be singing the way he is in the stereo. He's in the mono version. He starts singing differently. So that's one of the differences. There are other subtle differences on the mono version of Revolver. Mono versus stereo is something we could go into for quite a while, but in this particular album, that's the biggest difference I remember hearing. I'm going to put this guy back. Yeah, Beatles for sale. Oh, I got Help as well. So I got the nice Help version of that on red vinyl. To continue with some Japanese vinyl, this is the White Album. This is again the sort of the Flags of the Nation OB series, number 10 with the English flag, and it's stamped. This is one of two copies I have of this version. This is sort of the play copy I got not too long ago. I have one from back in the 80s when I bought it, and it's in pristine condition. I think I played it once to put it on to cassette, and I never listened to it again. So I didn't want to, take a chance on damaging it or anything. And I found a good copy of it on eBay from Japan, and I picked this up. It's got the nice stamp number embossed in here. Hold it up so you can see. Not a low number, and there's some yellowing on the actual album itself, album cover itself. But this is, like I said, this is a play copy. Has all the goodies in it. The poster, a few little spots here and there. It's even the inside. Has the nice extra Japanese inserts that you always get with either lyrics or some other information on there. Different photos. And nice big glossy hard, almost cardboard-like backed photos, which are nice. So got all the goodies with those. It's nice to have. But the the quality of the packaging itself isn't as good as my original, which is fine because this is the one that I handle more and play. The White Album really isn't my favorite Beatles album, but I just decided, I found a good price for this and decided to have another copy that I could grab and put on the turntable and play. So did that. And speaking of the White Album and it not being my favorite album, here's another one. This one is the mono reissue. I was able to get a couple of reissues in mono back in the 80s. I had found out that, oh, there are different versions. That's when I came to the realization stereo, mono, and the different versions of the albums signed me up. And if I could find the monos, I could. So I was able to find a couple of monos. This was a 80s reissue, UK pressing of the White Album. Embossed, Beatles, but no number, which is fine. And not much else to see. I don't want to take too much time here doing this, but it's a standard Apple release. I did pulled it out. Well, maybe it's somewhere. We'll see. This is the American Purple label White Album. This is the one that's on white vinyl, so it's kind of nice to have. I knew I had one of these. I knew I had this on white vinyl. I just was surprised to find it was the American Purple label. I thought I had it either UK or a German. The German white vinyl White Album is quite an expensive item. So if you see one of those, it usually has a sticker up here saying that it's German. I don't know what exactly it says, but something in German about it being in white vinyl, but it's the only white vinyl issue that has a sticker up here, a small sticker about so big. So if you find that and it's a German pressing and it's a good price, definitely nab it. That's a good one to get. Let's see. Well, let's go with this guy here. Move my little boomerang out of the way. German pressings, Beatles greatest. Again, I was saying in my other post how nice and warm the sound is on the German pressings, and what was really special about this was getting that's not that. All My Lovin', that's it. I knew there was one interesting thing about the German pressing of the Greatest Hits, and there's also, I think there's a pressing of the Greatest Hits from Holland that has a different cover, and you can also get the same thing, but All My Loving is a different, well, it's not necessarily a different version, it's just that it's got a different intro. You can hear Ringo's hi-hat intro to the song, and it's the only place that that edit was allowed in. Everything else, for whatever reason, they got a master that had the 5 taps of his hi-hat going into the song, and then Paul starts singing, and that's like, wow, cool, great, sign me up. Hear a little extra Beatle-me, a little extra something going on there. And back then it was like anything, anything different. So, and this is on the blue EMI Odeon. Should be, yeah, EMI Odeon label. So this was one bought way back when. A little on the dusty side. But let's see. Do that. Yes, an old price sticker here, $6.99. That was when these were affordable to find and relatively easy to find, and they were affordable. Now, I don't think you get this for $6.99, but you never know. I haven't been to a record show in a while, so I need to get myself to a record show. Let's see. Go across here. This is, I was talking about the Liverpool box, and this is one of the Liverpool box LPs. This is LP number 8, and it covers more of the later albums. Let me pull this out actually first. I unwrapped the actual box itself. Probably have seen this if you're a collector at all, or if you looked into Beatles albums at all. Liverpool box. It's made to look like a crate being delivered and all that. Liverpool box opens up. Carefully opens up. I'm gonna make it too easy. It's a hinge, so bear with me. And has a lot of information. I think there is supposed to be an insert or a poster. Some countries specialize theirs differently. This came from the UK. It may not have the UK may not have had the poster, but there might have been an insert. It's not in here, which is fine. The vinyl is in great shape. The covers are in great shape. Each one of the covers is different, with a different photo of the band, roughly having to do with the time period. Of course, this looks this doesn't really look like the Abbey Road Let It Be time period for this photo, but and that's what we got. So I could pull down a few more of these. Hopefully not literally pull them down, just to show you the covers. This is definitely a White Album period photo, which is great. And yeah, it's mostly White Album. On side 2, side 1 starts with Hello Goodbye, Lady Madonna, Hey Jude, Revolution, so it definitely goes in. And they're in chronological order. And it's kind of like a cross between greatest hits, and they didn't just take all the tracks on the albums and grab them. There are songs that were only available as singles or on EPs, and they've included them in this as well. So they really took the entire catalog and condensed it down into 8 vinyl LPs. So that's a great box. That's a box I've been looking at. I remember looking at that box back in the early 80s. There was a small record store on the Ave in the U District, and I think it might have been a French pressing, I'm not sure, but I remember just looking at it going, oh, I want this. I wish I could have this. But it was, I was a college student or just getting out of college, and it was just too much for me. But I was recently able to get a copy from the UK, and it survived the trip, and I'm glad I've got it. Let's see, let's keep going this way. Just going to do a handful of things, handful of my favorite things. This is a lot more I could show you, but I don't want to do an hour-long video. This is a nice promo that was done for the Beatles movie medley. The Real Music album. This was a 12-inch. There was a 7-inch that came out that you could buy, but this is a promo only that came out for the movie medley. Medley of songs excerpted from the LP Real Music, backed with Fab 4 on film. The Beatles talk about Hard Day's Night. I think it's basically the 7-inch single, but they just did it in a 12-inch. And somehow, yeah, for a long time I didn't have the album, but I somehow got the souvenir program that went in the album. Unless it came with the promo, I'm not sure. But nothing too special about the vinyl. It's just nice, wide. Uses all the space on that 12-inch for those 2 songs, so that's pretty cool. And let me box this back up. Yeah, this is an album that gets sort of a lot of collectors or a lot of Beatle fans turn their nose up at, and I never bought it. I just sort of ignored it because I looked at it and said, oh, I got all this stuff, and I really don't need it compiled. I can compile it myself from the records onto a cassette. But home taping is destroying music. So hopefully I didn't contribute to the destruction of music. I don't think I did. I think I pretty much bought my fair share of Beatles music. But here's the album. I finally got around to buying the album. I think I showed this in a post earlier. This is a promo copy of it, and it's got the inner sleeve. It's got the booklet again, and it is up top here. Of course, I got the wrong. It is numbered, limited edition, not for sale. It's a promo. 8977 is the number. And best thing of all, it is on gold, transparent vinyl. And we all know everything sounds much better on colored vinyl, right? I think it does. I just think it looks cooler when it's on colored vinyl. Although, nice slabs of black vinyl are pretty cool too. So don't get me wrong. Anyway, so that kind of completes that. And I've also got the 7-inch. So it's nice to have those as a little family holding themselves together. So this is going to be short. I'm going to show just a couple more things. At the end of my last post, my sort of my introduction, my overview to the Beatles, I showed this guy. And for those of you who know, and those of you who don't know, it is a butcher cover. This is a mono butcher cover. And I've got it kind of framed behind glass. Had that done a long time ago. I got this sometime in the early 80s, 83 or 84, I think. probably 83, I think. I went to my local record store, Cellophane Square, and they had it up there. It didn't look like this. And you'll notice that it has a nice gouge right in the middle of George's forehead here, and there are some other, pieces missing here and there. Got to remember to hold this up, not necessarily, and at a slight angle so that the sun doesn't get to it, but there isn't too much glare. But this was, you didn't see the trunk when you saw this. Someone had started to peel the paste over off, started to pull the paste over off. And they did a terrible job. I mean, there's tears there, there's a tear there. Like I said, there's a gouge right there in George's head. I could see a little bit of George's face, I think, and a little bit here and there. Obviously, it was a butcher cover, a mono butcher cover. It was $50, and I bought it, and then I stayed up all night. Like I said, you didn't see the trunk cover on here. What you saw was just sort of white, fuzzy white. It was the... they must have taken tape, maybe, and stuck it and pulled the image of the trunk cover off, leaving the white paper underneath what was printed on, because there was still a coating of white paper here. You couldn't see the butcher cover still. So I stayed up for about, I don't know how many hours, till about 4 o'clock the next morning with a bottle of rubbing alcohol and some cotton swabs, and just sat here and just went very gently, very carefully. There's still little flecks of white from the paste over still on here. It could use some more cleaning up. But I got to a point where it was like, it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was time to go to bed. I just said, okay, I'm done with this. I'm good. And so I was, hey, I've got a butcher cover, cool. And the inserts, the actual vinyl itself, I've got separate, including the original paper dust jacket insert sleeve as well. Is in great shape. So it's nice to have that. And then a few years ago, I was lucky enough to be going through a consignment shop with my sister and I think my brother at the time. And we were looking around things, and I was looking at one of the cases, and I saw this. And I thought to myself, why would they have that in one of the cases for so much money? And it was a good chunk of change, but it wasn't that much. The only reason I could think of that they would have this for a chunk of money would be maybe it's another butcher cover. And so I asked to look at it, and I took it out, and yeah, it's another butcher cover, and it's still pasted over. In case you don't know, a butcher cover that's been unpeeled is considered a third state butcher cover. This is considered third state now. This is a second state butcher cover, which means it's been pasted over, but the paste over is still there. A first state, you would see the butcher cover, but it's never been pasted over, and those go for big bucks, lots of money. So I was happy to find this one, and I even talked them down, I think $50 from their original price. I didn't pay $50 for it. I talked them down $50, and I nabbed it. I mean, and the cover is in great shape. There's the barest minimum of any kind of ring wear on the front. The back side is in great shape. The vinyl's in great shape. The inner sleeve, I believe, is in great shape. There's a little bit of something going on here in the back of the cover, but you can see right here. You can see the edge is the paste over is slightly rotated. It's slightly at an angle, so a little bit of the butcher cover shows through here all the way up, and then it gets covered up there. You can see Ringo's, this is one of the telltale signs. If you take a look at Ringo's V and his sweater right there, how dark it is, you can see that darkness through the paste over right in the same area, and you can see it right there. So yeah, this is a paste over, and I was happy to have it. Again, they're both monos. I made more mono than they did stereo, so stereos go for a lot more money. A friend of mine over at Port Angeles, he's got a couple of stereo butchers, and they're both peeled, I believe. They're beautiful. One of them was a beautiful job peeling it. Whoever did it, he didn't do it. He bought it already peeled. He might have a second state. I'm not sure, but that would be, we're talking about holy grails and what we're looking for. This was, one of those finds. It was just there, and I got it at a good price. I'd love to get a stereo, either second state or third state. I know I could never afford a first state unless someone had it mispriced. And then I would kind of question, well, is it counterfeit or is it the real thing? So Anyway, so thought I'd finish off with that since I finished off with that on the overview video. Like I said, I've got a bunch of 45s, you know, a lot of from Japan, a lot of US 45s, original Americans with picture sleeves. I got a bunch of UK. So I need to go through those and organize those. They're relatively organized, but I've been buying a few more here and there, and I need to get them and put in with the rest of the group. So. And there's a lot more to talk about, a lot more things I could pull out and show you, but I will do that at another time. Maybe I'll go through all my Germans and show you, because a lot of the German covers are slightly different. Some of them are very different. There's a couple of German pressings, a couple of German Beatle albums I'd like to get, but they're a little bit harder to get, a little bit harder to find. Even if they're represses or later issues of them, I'd be happy to get them, but they're just hard to come by and hard to come by at a good price. So. But I'm happy with the ones I've got, and I could go through and show those, and show more of the Japanese, and maybe just pull out some of the original Americans. So there'll be other posts as well for some of the Beatles stuff I've got if people are interested in seeing them. And you know, again, if I've spouted off about something, then you go, that's not right. Leave a message, leave a comment, tell me, no, you're wrong. It's this and that and this and that. Anyway. So thanks, and I'll be talking to you soon. I'll have a regular vinyl finds. I got a few things, including something that I really need to ask about and see if anybody knows anything about. It's just kind of interesting. Oh, and thanks to a number of people. I think I thanked them in the comments of the overview. In fact, if I can remember, because they were nice enough to request. People were kind of bugging me. I keep saying, oh, I'm going to do a Beatles post, and then, you know, nothing happens. Buddy Bopper and Memphis Vinyl Gem and the Misses. And, you know, there was one other person, Enrod66, thank you for bugging me and saying, post your Beatles collection. So I can't do the whole collection. Got to do it in little bits and pieces. Anyway, take care, and see you later. Let's give you a close-up of this as we leave. Bye-bye.